Are you looking at chat?
3,000 feet, huh?
I didn't put that.
Yeah, you did.
Have you beatboxed for Humble yet?
I can.
Biscuit, it's your time.
Okay, I think that's closer to ear rape than beatbox. Okay, so for this game, I get into a trio server, which can be found in normals. It's one of the normal servers, like all the way in the back, with Biscuit and his boyfriend. That sounds very manly, by the way. I brought along a Gladiator because I wanted to actually test out whether the Gladiator buff is actually good or not. Because as you can see by this update log, it says buffed Gladiator starting price, which means below lower the price. Gladiator is definitely better, right? Because the starting price went from 600 to 450. That's a discount of 150. So the level 0 went from 600 to 450. So it's a buff, sure, but is it gonna change anything? Is it gonna make the tower like a meta tower? No, not even close, because you know it's just a difference of 150 credits or 150 cash. And the biggest problem with the Gladiator isn't that it's too expensive. The price is fine. It's the damage and or range and or the swing rate, right? And a lot of you guys might be like, well, it's a melee tower, so it can't have a really big range. If that's a problem, give him a longer sword, right? And not to mention there's a lot of other inconsistencies in TDS that I'm perfectly fine with because they make the game more enjoyable. You know, Gladiator right now as it is, with the really stupid range, it's not enjoyable to use unless, you know, the tower had a much higher DPS. But like towers with really low range to begin with, I don't think it's really fun overall to use those towers. And some of the inconsistencies you guys might be wondering about, like how Enforcer's spaz, when it's completely maxed out, shoots really slowly compared to spaz in real life. How Outlaw, despite using a future tech plasma rifle, has a shorter range compared to Sniper, which makes no sense. And how literally every single offensive unit in TDS has 100% accuracy when they're shooting at zombies, so they never ever miss. But of course, you know, the last thing that I just mentioned, 100% accuracy thing, you know, that exists to make the game more fun and more enjoyable. So I believe that some inconsistencies are fine because, you know, as long as, you know, the reason we play the game is obviously to have fun. And I feel like some of the inconsistencies have to exist to make the game, you know, really fun and enjoyable. So when it comes to Gladiator having a really bad range, only because it's a melee tower, by the way, I don't think it's really justified because it's not fun using Gladiator even after it was buffed. You know, if anything, like 150 discount, like it's not really much of a buff. Like technically it is, but it's not like that change had anyone like start playing with Gladiator. So I don't think it really mattered. So yeah, in order for Gladiator to really rise to the top along with the other meta towers, damage has to be buffed 100%. Like there's no other way. Range could be buffed as well, like that's fine. I mean, I personally think it's perfectly fine to have a melee tower that has a range, you know, that doesn't make sense. Like I couldn't care less about that. But I feel like whatever the DPS right now is, if it's like 60, it has to be at least double. And the range has to be at least like 50% greater starting from level 0, because the range when it's level 0 is so small, you literally have to place it in a corner. Literally. Otherwise you can't hit any zombies. But if you place it in the corner, what happens is later on, right, if you place Gladiator over here just to cover, let me change the color. Yeah, just to cover this much, right? Later on, you're gonna upgrade Gladiator and it's gonna cover like that. Whereas if you could place Gladiator in the middle, when it's maxed out, it's able to cover that much. So because you have to, you know, literally put it in the corner, all the extra range is just wasted. So it makes Gladiator even worse if you actually play with it in a game. So yeah, the buff that the Gladiator received isn't really much of a buff. I really wish that below really buffs it hard in the future, but let me know what you guys think as always in the comment section below, and if you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.
We're not gonna die, right?
No, but I'm bored.
We might actually. Spawn Zeds, Biscuit.
Okay, I'll spawn Krampus.
What the fuck?
Oh. Oh god. I think we're dying.
Dude,
Yeah.
Biscuit, stop
there's-
trolling.
Yeah.
That'll work. Okay, it did. The frick? Oh my gosh. I can't type.
You can't type fast enough. Oh my god, dude.
No. I can't.
Okay, I blame
try.
Biscuit
There
for
was
this.
a really
You actually
and
suck.
it could- We have 6 points.